everyone, welcome to my channel, Retro Magazines and Patterns. I'm Sophie, and in today's issue, I have this Vogue Knitting Fall 1997, and I thought we would flip through this, do something a little bit different. Lately, I've been doing a lot of, like, 1970s, early 80s, but I thought this would be fun. I was going through my collection, and I found a couple of these Vogue knitting from the, like, mid to late 90s, and I thought they would kind of be fun to look through. This one has a lot of really great patterns in it, but it also has some really great articles, so I thought this would be a nice change of pace for us. So why don't we go ahead and get into this and see what they have in it. Okay, so we've flipped through some of these in the past, and one of the things that I noticed is that they have some really great ads. So you'll see some really nice yarns, patterns, stitch definition in here. Right here we have the contents. I like this little girl. She's so cute with her dimples. She reminds me of Curly Sue. I don't know if anybody remembers that movie. That was from, I think, the early 90s. We have the Adrian Vittadini yarn ad. We always see at least one of these in a Vogue Knitting magazine, and it always has great, like, stitch definition. Over here, just kind of like a roundup. So they have some inspirational yarn shops. They have this Flower Power little piece over here. Reminds me a little bit of, like, the Spice Girls with the Girl Power. And then some more bits and bobs. They had this nice, I thought this sweater was kind of cute. It says it's Joe Sharp's new book, Knitted Sweater Style. I did look online to see if that was available in the Internet Archives. It was not, but, you know, if you wanted to check it out, I'm sure you could find it on, like, eBay or something. But that looked like it would probably have some really fun 90s patterns. Just some cute, like, ads for new knitting needles. They have this ad here for the new website. You can see just how old the website used to look. Blocking set right there. So here is one of the articles that I thought was great. This is, the whole article is right here on this one page. So it's like nice and succinct little article about gauging. So if that is something that you need to maybe put a little more effort into, like myself, something that you're trying to work on, I'll leave this open just for a minute so you guys can get a good shot of it if you want to give it a read through. Then they have this nice article here about adding a zipper into your knits. And I thought this was really great because it is fall. We're coming up on the cooler months here, the burr months, September, October, November, December. And this is a really great way to maybe shore up those knits a little bit, make them a little more finished looking if that's the look you're going for. So that was kind of a cool piece to see in there. So this is the first pattern in this issue, and at first glance I think it looks a little simple, not that that's a bad thing, but if you look really closely you'll see it has these great baubles on the bottom, this little like bauble edging, and I think that just makes this piece look so great because I like this black and tan look when you add this little bauble piece in. It's fun, but it's still really polished looking, and I like that a lot. So this article I thought was really important for all of us crafters, knitters, crocheters. I think if you've been knitting or crocheting or any kind of work with your hands for a while, you notice that you start to get some pains and things like that. So this is talking about ways to help prevent injury or to help alleviate some of that pain. So they do give you some exercises, and they talk about good habits and bad habits. I know I have a little bit of these, but I definitely have a lot of of these. So this is a great reminder and, you know, like little learning piece. And it does continue on page 32. We'll stop and look at it real quick, but I'm going to leave this whole article at the end for everybody to kind of read through because I do think it's important. It helps to kind of lengthen that amount of time that we're going to be able to be creative with our hands without injuring ourselves. So number 2 is this really pretty, they call it the après-ski chic look, and it's revisited from 1963. right up here. So I really like this piece. You can see they utilize that zipper technique in there, and the colors are really great. This piece is so cozy looking. It is like a nice oversized kind of like comfy cardigan. Down here, it's a little more tailored. I like both of the looks. It looks so nice tailored on her, and it does look like it might have a bit of a collar on there and the matching hat, but it also looks nice, relaxed, and oversized there. So that's a really nice pattern there. Over here, they do give us a few edging ideas. So if you're kind of tired of always doing maybe ribbing at the edge of your sweaters and cuffs and collars and things like that, this is going to give you some really nice kind of like unique ways to change that up. So I'm going to also include these at the end because I just think they're fun. And you can see that in some of these patterns that they have coming up, they utilized the edging there, which I thought was really a fun touch to kind of see it in action. And then they have this one over here, the wrapped bobble edge, the scalloped edge, which I think is really simple, but really does add a nice touch. And then this really cute, sweet ribbed ruffle edge. We have an ad here from Mokuba Ribbon. This is the remainder of those exercises for knitters and crocheters. Little subscription card. So they do have this really nice Kids in Vogue 16-page pull-out of kids patterns. And these are some really beautiful patterns for kids. What I like most about these particular children's patterns is that they are not just plain, simple, quick sweaters. They do allow you to kind of like practice some of these techniques, but on a smaller scale. So if you are wanting to try and make something with, say, like Fair Isle, but you don't want to invest the money and the time into an adult-sized piece, you could try one of these kitty sweaters, and then when it's done, it's a great heirloom piece for somebody young in your life. I love this little girl. It's so cute. She reminds me of like a baby Melissa McCarthy. She's got this cute little sweater on with her beret. That's really sweet. And the patterns are in here right next to the sweater. They're not in the back. That's because this is a full pull-out section. That's a really nice one there. And then we have these bright pieces up here. I really like this one. This one to me just screams 90s. It's got the whole chart right here. I'm actually going to put this chart up at the end because if you didn't want to make a child's version of this, you could most certainly make an adult's version of this using the chart. I'm sure it would not be too complicated to find a pattern and add this in. So I really like that. And then there's the pattern for the cover girl. So this is an ad. This is not in the issue, but I just thought these were some really nice whites. But it does kind of remind me of a Backstreet Boys music video from 1997 as well, if you know what I mean, with all the white. Another subscription card. We have news from the editor over here. Okay, so now we're getting to some more. These are going to be some cable knit sweaters. I think these are really pretty. One thing I noticed about this spread too, look at all the detail in that, it's really pretty, is that they give you more than one shot. And if you've been listening to some of my most recent videos, I think you know that one of the problems I've been having with some of like the older pattern magazines is that they only give you like a one hidden shot of some of the patterns and you can't really get a good idea of what they look like. So this one is giving you a much nicer view of some of these. So you can get a really clear idea of if it's something that you'd like to put the time in. I really like this piece here. The colors are okay for me. They're not colors that I would necessarily choose. But what I like about it is that this middle piece, like at the waist, kind of surreptitiously brings the sweater in, so it's not really oversized as much as it's nice and fitted. And I think that's really lovely. And you can see it kind of like has the colors blend together here so that it seamlessly goes to the other color at the bottom. That's really nice, but you could probably make the sweater in one piece, and this would be hidden a little bit more if you weren't so into the striping there. It's a neat piece, and the cables are really interesting too. I love this purple. I think that's really pretty. It's got like a tweed going on with these directional cables, not cables, ribbing. That's really nice. That looks really fun to wear, like comfortable. And then we have this really great cable knit like cardigan with this nice shawl up here. That's really pretty. And they're giving you so many different shots of this intricately knitted cable cardigan. And I love that like aubergine kind of like eggplant purple color. And then they do give us a few men's sweaters. So you have like kind of a classic men's sweater. If you look closely, you'll see there's some texture going on there. But I really do like this men's cardigan, this ribbed cardigan with no collar, just like a nice zip up in the front. It's a nice cardigan. It really is. I love these pieces. These are 1990s to me all the way around. This just looks like 1997. Like I could see you sitting there watching Friends, you know, listening to the Spice Girls. This looks like 1997. It's really fun. And the same pattern is used in both of these pieces. She's got a little bit more of a detailed collar here, but you could use so many different color combinations too and really make that pop. It's really fun. I think that's great. And then here we have this nice like geometric kind of, it almost looks like Greek key, but tunic sweater with that like mock turtle. That's really nice. And we saw this one earlier. This one has that pleated edging. So it's a little bit easier to see in this picture, but that's a nice cardigan too. I like that. And it does have the hat as well. So here are some Missoni designs, and it's got that space dyed look, which I remember being quite popular in the 90s. You may remember Missoni like designs. He was really popular with the zigzag print. So I know there were a lot of dresses in like the late 90s, maybe even early 2000s that had that Missoni zigzag look on it. But these are nice. They're kind of simple in design, but the yarn allows you to have a lot of fun with them. And I like the different, like the solid color cuff and collar on that. This one has pockets. Here is a Joan Voss ribbon knit cardigan, and I think this piece looks so great, even though it is ribbon knit, which I think looks great. I like ribbon knit pieces, but a lot of times they can look more like primitive or folksy, which isn't a bad thing. But this piece really looks finished and in a really nice way. Like that's a nice way to wear a ribbon knit, certainly. And I just really love this Adrienne Vittadini cardigan. I can't specifically say it's one thing. I love the way that this drapes. I love the stitch definition, the cable work in it. The color is obviously plain. It's a nice off-white ivory color, beige, whatever you want to call it. But it really showcases the beauty of that sweater. That is a beautiful cardigan. It really is. And you can change that color, obviously, but it is, no matter any way around it, I just think that that's a really pretty cardigan. So over here we have hats off to Nikki Epstein. So if you have been a knitter for a good length of time, you're probably familiar with Nikki Epstein patterns and designs. She has quite a few books. I know I've flipped through definitely a handful of Nikki Epstein books. There's a handful on my list that I don't have already. But they do give you the patterns in here for this nice leopard, like, I think they refer to this as a pillbox hat. That's really cute. And then I love this like hunter's cap with the buffalo check. that's really fun. So I was not able to find Nikki's hat book on the Internet Archives. She has a few on there, but this one was not one of them. Over here we have the this is Kristen Nicholas, yeah. This piece really reminds me of like Mary Englebright from the 90s. If you're not familiar with her, I'll pop up some designs and you see if I'm close at all. But I thought that was a really fun piece. You could even, instead of putting in all these little embroidered dots, you could even do beads in there. That would be cute. But that's a nice little bright, colorful, whimsical piece to add if that's like a look that you have going on in your home. I think it's really sweet. So the Autumn Splendor spread, I think, is great. There are some really cute sweaters in this spread. The only problem with this particular picture is that it is difficult to see. You really have to look close. So I'm going to try to pop up some pictures of these so you can really get a better view of it. But this is a cardigan. It does have a V-neck with the buttons coming up halfway and then the back, and it is all covered in fall leaves, and it is really beautiful. I just wish they would have brightened the pictures just a little bit. And here's another one with fall leaves on it, and there's a lot of texture going on in this. This is more like a jacket, in my opinion, than it is a cardigan. It does have the zipper in there, but this is a really nice piece. I like the texture and the colors in there. It's very cozy looking. And then over here we have this nice like monochromatic piece with the knitted leaves in the squares. And if you look close, you'll see that they used the bobble edging technique even on the collar. And I think that piece is so fun. And here is our cover girl. So this was actually on the cover. And this is really pretty. This is a lot of fun. What I like most about this is obviously the leaves. That's a really great piece. The leaves look really fun. It's nice and fall, but then you go and add this nice striped shawl collar that goes down the front, and I just think that makes it interesting and a lot of fun. It's a really pretty piece. It's definitely one of a kind. You're gonna wear that out and somebody's gonna stop you and say, that sweater is great, where did you get it? And you'll say, I made it. And another really great fun piece here, it says 9 to 5 and beyond. So it does have some cute images knitted in here, like the satchel, and then you have like the telephone and the glasses. But if you look close, you'll see there's also some cabling in the body of the sweater. So this is a really nice kind of car trip little jacket there. I like that. Fold fashion. So here we have some pretty purples. We have this nice little like Fair Isle cropped sweater that's really pretty. It looks slightly fuzzy, so it looks really cozy. Oh, I think I'm missing a page here. There we go. And another really soft, cozy cardigan here. And this piece over here looks like so many sweaters that I owned in the 90s with just the nice, like, simple striping. Fiber update. So here they're just kind of reviewing some of the popular fibers. They even have, you know, they have this, like, classics, wools and acrylics, cottons, mohairs. But then they get into, like, space dyes, spirals, and chenilles and fur, which I think are very indicative of the 90s. The ribbons over here. Basically speaking, we have this really cute short sleeve cardigan, really kind of nubby and chubby yarn with the single closure up at the top. That is a nice piece. That would look nice in black too. If you wanted to have some basic staples in your closet, those are nice. And here's another basic staple, a classic cardigan. You really can't go wrong. That's a nice piece right there. I need something like that in my wardrobe, something that I knit. Basic cardigan, so I'll have to keep a hold of this. Then we have this nice, this is like a, I would say they use a space dyed yarn in this. It doesn't say, but it is pretty. Tunic length, and it does have that ruffled edge at the bottom. And then we have this nice jacket here. Oversized pockets, nice shawl collar, the big cuffs there. This is a nice travel coat. I really like that. I like the colors that they chose, but looking at it in all those dark colors also makes me wonder what it might look like in some brighter colors. There's the yarn information, techniques and abbreviations. And then we're getting into the patterns here. So if you're new to my channel, if this is one of the first videos you've watched, I do like to pull specific patterns from each issue, and I'll leave them up at the end to give you guys a chance to work on some of these. If for some reason I did not pull a pattern that you were hoping to see, but you saw one in here you'd really like to get your hands on, please feel free to message me. You can find me at Instagram. I'll pop up my Instagram name there on the channel, and I can send it to you there, or you can simply comment below and I'll be happy to send it over to you. We'll find a way to get that to you. But please don't hesitate. I really enjoy talking to you guys. I love all the comments that you guys send. I learn so much from the comments, and I also love hearing which ones are your favorites, things that you've made that are similar, just what you really enjoyed the most. Here's that graph for that 90s sweater we saw earlier. But I really do enjoy connecting with you guys on there. So please don't hesitate to comment. I would love to read whatever you guys think about all of these in the patterns. And I do have several of these Vogue Knitting Fall 90s magazines. So I'll probably do a few more of these for this upcoming fall. But I really hope you guys enjoyed flipping through this one with me. I did. It was kind of a nice little change of pace. And I did enjoy the articles too in there. But yeah, let me know your thoughts on this one in the comments below. If there are any patterns in here that you guys are going to make, I would love to know. If there are any color changes that you would make, I'd be curious to hear about those as well. I always like hearing what people pick color-wise. But until the next one, I hope you guys enjoyed flipping through this with me. I hope you got lots of inspiration, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!